In centuries past, in Congo, if you had a message to share with your community, you would use the talking drum. The sound could travel over great distances. Each strike of the wood, each rhythm and tone carried meaning. People scattered across the countryside could be called together to face dangers or to greet visitors or to celebrate. More than 50 years ago, a small Bible school was started that, like the talking drum, was a means to communicate important news, the most important news, the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Nous étions entourés un jour par l'ennemi et nous n'avons pas eu moyen même d'en sortir.
Il y a un certain moment, nous étions obligés de nous enfermer dans des maisons 4 jours durant sans sortir à l'extérieur parce qu'il y avait vraiment crépitement de balles partout.
C'est tout juste un jour quand on avait encore attrapé les autres ennemis, et les femmes et les hommes par-ci par-là. Une maman a prié aussi comme moi j'avais prié. Elle a dit, Seigneur, si tu me sauves de la main de mes ennemis ici, je vais travailler à toi. Alors à moi, à l'intérieur, je me suis rappelé de cette prière que moi aussi j'avais fait le jour où j'étais entouré par les ennemis. Alors ça m'a poussé de ne pas réagir envers celles qui avaient prié et les autres je les ai libérés pour partir.
This was like ethnic conflict, people fighting here, and that conflict left like 50,000 people dead in this area. Everyone identified himself with this school as their school, the school where they are protected. When the last fighting that forced the school to be evacuated, the two factions who were fighting, they stopped right at the school on the two sides. The school was going to become the battlefield and the last battlefield, but at the end they decided that they would not destroy the school because each of the factions identified with the school, like this is where our people were saved. Because of the story of fighting, because of this background of people coming to find a place of peace here, we started thinking of this place as that place where reconciliation will start. Actually, the first meeting for reconciliation was here, and we started thinking about the name, and everybody agreed that Shalom is the name because we have experienced God's peace.
But it doesn't just mean peace in the sense of absence of war, it means peace in the sense of wholeness of life and fullness of life. And so in that sense, Shalom is what Jesus came to bring. He came to bring life in all its fullness. Sunday by Sunday, we see churches in Bunia throughout Congo which are filled with Christians worshipping God. And yet, at the same time within these countries, we see very significant, very high levels of corruption. We see the prevalence of the AIDS epidemic. We see maladministration at pretty well all levels of government. And so we're not seeing transformation of the country by the gospel. And that's really a huge dilemma. It raises all sorts of questions. And it does seem to me that the answer must be the effective discipling of the people of God through the gospel.
We have done well in training pastors, but we came to realize that the need is beyond training for theological education only, that we are dying with this corruption thing. People are dying with poverty, and our resources, natural resources, are not well managed. That we also need to help our society. We need to help the church come to that point of realizing that we need to be involved in all these hot questions.
And since we've become a university, we've added programs that really match the needs of the country. For example, the mining industry here has traditionally had no control. It's been fairly dirty mining, so by having environmental studies, we're trying to give actors in the local society the possibility of cleaning up the mining industry. Of course, agriculture is huge here in Congo. Over 80% of people are subsistence farmers, so we're trying to match the programs that we're giving to the needs of the country. We have lots of NGOs, that's non-governmental organizations, that come here and they're looking for managers. So many of our graduates are able to be managers in such organizations. We believe that forestry is the second largest rainforest in the world, is very important for Congo. So our programs are designed to meet those needs for development. We also have development studies to complement our traditional strength of theology and Bible because of the moral corruption in this country.
Arrivé sur le site ici, j'ai découvert qu'il y avait la faculté de développement qui m'a beaucoup intéressée. Et Dieu m'a fait grâce, j'ai commencé à étudier en faculté de développement pendant que mon mari faisait la théologie. Un jour, nous serons appelés à travailler dans l'église. Lorsque lui sera pasteur, moi je pourrai intervenir quelque part dans les actions de développement. Parce qu'en théologie, on développe plus l'aspect spirituel, pendant que chez nous, en développement, oui, on touche l'aspect spirituel, mais aussi l'aspect matériel des choses. Donc, dans l'église où nous aurons à diriger dans les années qui viennent, le mari pourra s'occuper de l'aspect spirituel au sein de l'église et moi, comme acteur de développement, je pourrai intervenir pour le développement matériel des membres de mon église, de notre communauté, de notre milieu et même de notre pays.
Our motto is excellence, both spiritual and academic. Excellence in spiritual development, excellence also in academic performance. So meeting the two is a great challenge for students themselves, but also for us as teachers.
The biggest needs that Shalom have now are the faculty. That is one. We can't rely on teachers who come from other universities. We need to train our own. But right now we also need some help. If we can have some who can come and help us for a while when we are still training our own, this will really help. The other need is infrastructures. We have really grown from 65 to 700-800 within 5 years.
It's been a tremendous challenge to find classrooms, to find housing for new staff, and to recruit the staff that we need. So I try to summarize what we need as facilities and faculty. We are desiring to have short-term and long-term faculty come from the West, people that have integrated their knowledge of Christ with their professional training in either agriculture or business or management or development. All those kinds of things can be very, very useful for us here. And the other side, of course, is to build more classrooms. We're really limited at present by having only about 23 classrooms. We need many more classrooms, and we need a large chapel assembly hall for, our goal is to have 1,500 students, so we still want to double one more time in the next 5 or 10 years. So we have a whole campus, a new campus that we've been provided for us out here in town, out near the airport. It's 4 times the size of the original campus here. We have big plans, but we're limited by the current facilities that we have. So we were looking for partners that can join with us, both to provide teachers and facilities that will meet our need.
Transformation de la violence à la paix, ce n'est pas facile. Nous avons chaque 10h à 11h, nous avons les cultes d'ensemble avec différents prédicateurs. Alors toutes ces prédications nous aident aussi à continuer à demeurer l'homme de la paix au lieu que nous soyons l'homme de la violence. Comme moi je suis à la faculté de la théologie, nous étudions la Bible, il y a différentes leçons, différents cours qui nous aident aussi à nous identifier chaque jour, ce que nous sommes et ce que nous devons être.
The Apostle Paul tells us in Romans chapter 12 that we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. It's in our minds, it's the way in which we think, it's the way in which we conceive of reality, it's our attitudes, our values, our priorities, our ambitions, and the transformation in those areas which is going to bring real change to people's lives. And I think that a university like this, seeking to communicate the truth of the gospel in depth and to bring about transformation in the minds, especially of young people, but also of our often somewhat older theological students, is ultimately the key to transformation in this country and throughout Africa.